Education Bureau in collaboration with Addis Media Network. This is English for Grade 8. Our lesson topic for today, that is lesson 27. Before I'm going to proceed to today's lesson, I would like to revise you what we learned last time. You remember, students, in the previous time, we were talking about different kinds of vocabularies. That was a part of Unit 9, gender equality. You know what gender equality? So I'd like to remind you some of the vocabularies that we studied. And then I have already told you that to practice those vocabularies and show to your friends how to use them in different sentences and paragraphs. So, to remind you some of the vocabularies that we said last time, such as stereotype. You remember stereotype? Yeah, I think you are free from stereotype. Very good. Are you going to go to the kitchen and help your sisters and mother? That's good. Very nice. This is what we mean that you are free from stereotype. Very good. Prejudice. That was an interesting vocabulary that we studied last time. You know prejudice. Yeah. There are some women or your sisters who wants to be what? A technician, right? Or any kind of profession that needs the means for, whereas they are interested in to join that profession. Sometimes your parents or one of your relatives say that, oh, this job is not good for girls. This job is not good for women. No, this is what you have to be free from, prejudice. This is what I mean that prejudice. The other that is a gender, gender and the difference between gender and that is sex. Gender that is natural. This is natural one, that is sex. Female, male, it's natural one. Socially, gender. The difference between the two sexes. Right, when you are engaging yourself with different professions in the community. Therefore, this time is right. There are a lot of leaders who are leading the company and the organization. They are belonging to the what? Female society. You see? They are leading the company, the organization to be profitable. I'm sure that you come across some of the women who are prominent in Ethiopia too, right? Yeah, how they are achieving their goals. That's why, because of what? There is the issue of being free from the stereotype. Yeah, the other thing that is aware. You remember the word aware means that we have to aware. Our communities these days is becoming aware about how they are working in different professions. Along with what? With men. That's interesting one. Good. And the other one that is, see, quality. You know what quality is? The quality of gender equality. The equality of both sexes who are engaging themselves in equal position and equal performance and equal achievements. This is what we call it equality. In some cases, inequality is the opposite of equality. Inequality. Inequality means that, you see, there are some women who have the same profession, the same job opportunity, the same kind of position, whereas they are not paid like men. It's not good. This is inequality. Yeah. So we have to treat both gender, right, to be performed as an equal situation, as an equal performance, and have got the same salary with the men. So we have to aware about this one. Many thanks. That was the lesson that we learned in the previous time. That was a part of Unit 9. Let's go and see today also Unit 9. This is the last part of the unit. Gender equality. Gender equality. That is lesson 27. The lesson part is that is grammar. About what? Conditionals. Conditionals. Type 1 and type 2. What in about conditionals, students? Conditionals. These are a very important part of the grammar that we are going to see in the part of that is Unit 9. So, conditionals type 1 and type 2. What do you mean by that? Type 1 conditionals. Yeah, when it comes in the case of type 1 conditionals, I would like to make you familiar with some of the forms. What looks like the form. Before that, let me tell you that the objectives of this lesson. The main objectives of this lesson is that how to use conditionals in different contexts, both type 1 and type 2. So, the main important issue of this lesson is that using these conditionals in different contexts. Yeah, to come to the first part of the conditional type 1, its main function is that to talk about real and what? Possible situations. If you want to talk about real and possible situations. Real and possible situations. And at the same time, we are also use type 1 conditionals in order to talk about what? Cause and effect. Cause and effect. So what do you mean by that here now is that, please? Yeah, when it comes in the case of conditional, in both cases, don't forget that verbs are very important. That's why. Okay? Good. Now let's go and see some of the conditionals that you have to know. Real and what? The other one is possible one. Very interesting one. Verbs are very important. I would like to talk about this form first, right? If clause, right? If plus, you see, present, yeah, present verb, plus, you see, will plus, that is verb 1. It's maybe not only will. Possible that is may. It's also possible that is can. So such kind of, you see, form has that is type 1. Type 1 conditional tense. What do I mean by that? If plus present means present verb. Present verb, that is a V1 form. Yeah, verb 1. And there is a subject there. So here now this is a form is like this. The present verb stand for in the case of what? The if clause. Whereas when it comes in the main clause part, is right? The main clause part means, all right, the sentence or the clause that has after what? After the comma. I would like to show you some of the sample examples here now. Let's go study and let's go and see pass. Students, do you think that these are the verbs, aren't they? Very good. Let's go and see invite. And then go. Right? And then let's go and see some other verbs too, right? Get. And the other one that is be. Okay? Let's go some other verbs, right? Don't leave. And don't leave, and that is miss. Look. And eat and fear. Eat, and then fear. Don't do and be. Don't do and be. Good. Wrong and say. Rain and say. Rain and say. Very interesting one. Get and don't like. So, I would like to show you some of the sample examples using these verbs. Right? Stay in the past. Invite and go. Get and be. Don't live and miss. Eat, fill. Don't do and be. Rain and say. That all belong to the verbs. Verb families. That means that we put these verbs either in the case of the if clause or the main clause. So I would like to show you some sample examples. Right? Good. If you study hard, look, I'm going to apply the form that's given there, right? Yeah. If you study hard, what will happen? What will be the results? Right? Yeah. I will pass. I will pass the exam. Have you said it? Just like the verb that's stated there. Study is here it is. Study is the main part of the if clause. Pass is where it comes after the comma. Have you get me? Therefore, I will pass the exam. Then will is still now common here now. It's okay? Yeah, it should be preceded with the verb that's given in the main clause. If you study hard, it is what? The if clause part. What we call it? If clause part. That's why, because it's not a completed sentence. That's why we say that if clause. Whereas I will pass the exam, that is the main clause part. Therefore, the main clause is always completed. So right, it's completed. This is the main clause. Main stands for referring to a sentence is what? Completed. Then, when it comes in the case of type 1 and type 2 conditional tenses, don't forget that there are two kinds of clauses, students. All right, this sentence can be also written in such a way. Okay, come on. I will pass. It's not always like at the initial position too. I will pass the exam if I will pass. Yeah. You will pass here. Yeah, you'll pass the exam. If you pass, you will pass the exam. If here with no comma, you'll pass the exam. If you study hard. If you study hard. This is also a possible position. Not necessarily if always comes at the initial position, students. You are also just have a right to write at the medial position. In such a case, right, when the main clause comes at the initial position or at the first or at the beginning is what I mean that, right, there is no need of comma. Rather, if becomes at the medial position of the two clauses. The main clause and the what? The if clause part. The if clause part means that comes after it. So both are possible way of writing the condition as type 1. So what you have to understand here now is that be sure that will plus V1 is possible, and study that is possible. Still now they are both V1. Still now will plus V1 that is also possible. That's it. Okay, let's go and practice another sentence that is given here. Now invite and go. Good. Would you like to do your own? Thank you so much. Take only 1 minute and try to make your own sentences with invite and go. That's interesting. Show it to your friends. If you are doing like me, I'm sure that you are good. So let's go and see. Okay. If they invite us, we will go there. See? Yeah. If they invite us, we will go there. Or if they invite us, we will come there. Both are acceptable. Both are acceptable. You may do your sentence. If they invite us, we will come there. That may be your sentence. You are good. As mine is, if they invite us, we will go there. That's mine. Maybe another sentence, if they invite us, we inform to them also it is possible. There are a lot of verbs that go with this type 1 conditional sentence. Still now, right? Invite is, it is everyone, right? In the case of the if clause part. And will go, here now, still now, it's available here now. Will plus that is good. Very interesting one. If you like, it's okay. If they invite us, they can accompany with us also possible. Not necessarily to be that weird, is all right? So the same is true, hopefully that. Would you like to change the sentence? What I have done so far like this? The first sentence, very nice. We will go, right? We will go there. If they invite us. If they invite us. Possible. Two ways of possibility. We will go there if they invite us. The only thing is that the main clause comes at the initial, at the beginning of the sentence, whereas the if clause comes the end. This is also acceptable one. Thank you so much. Let's go and get and be. Good. Yeah. When it comes here now, okay. If you are late, right? You will miss your friend. Okay, if you are late, this B stands for here now. If you are late, okay, if you are late, you'll miss your friend. Okay. The other one that is, you will miss your friend if you are late also possible. Here now these R stands for that is B. They are both the same. Or you are welcome to do like this, okay? Right? Or, okay, let me, he is angry at you. If you get late at school. Possible, so right? You will get late. If you get late, this is still not possible actually with conditional time still now. That's why, because the difference one is there is no will, but that's why it is fact and real, and then you are welcome because no, that is will. Actually, it's a different one. Many thanks. Let's go and do some other verbs. Good. So now, some other examples, right? Yeah. Eat and fill. Yeah. What do you mean by that, eat and fill? Well, there are verbs, of course. So in what way do we show these two verbs in the case of type 1 conditional tense? Would you like to do your own? Very good. Let me show you that. That's okay? Yeah. if you eat junk food, you feel sick. What? Or in other words, if you eat junk food, right? You will feel sick. Acceptable. Both are acceptable one. So, still now it is type 1 conditional tense. Still now type 1 conditional tense. So, the first one is that is a reality, whereas the second one is, it is warning. Yeah. Warning not to eat junk food, not to feel sick, not to feel discomfort. This is what we mean that. Let's go. Rain. And stay. Good. Look at these two verbs, right? Pair of words. What do you do when it rains? Just try to answer this question and then try to do your own sentence as you have tried earlier, right? You're welcome, please. Let me give you that 1 minute again. Make your own sentence and show me so as to make type 1 conditionals. Good. Have you tried? That's an interesting one. Share to your friend. How does your friend do his activity? Would you like to share to him? Would you like to share to her? Share to each other. Okay, now let me do my own, right? Yeah. If it rains heavily, we will stay at home. This is the same context. If it rains heavily, of course, yeah, rains is now. It is agree with the third person singular that is it. Don't forget that. That's why we are adding here now s after the verb. If it rains heavily, we will stay at home. Will plus V1 is still now here. If you are doing like this, I'm sure that that's good. There are a lot of options. Okay? If it rains, now we'll be at home. Also possible. Yeah. The other one that is exercise. Exercise and stay. This look now. Stay go with another context too. Exercise. Good. If someone does physical exercise, it's obvious that he or she will stay house. Good. He or she will stay house. If someone does physical exercise, he or she will stay house. This is fact, isn't it? Yes, it is. So someone does. Look now, this is a verb. Have you get me? And will stay is still now here. Yes, the verb stay is used in different contexts in the previous sentence, whereas now it's another context. So verbs can be used in different contexts. That's good. And then I would like to add some other activities that you are going to do after this practice, right? So I'm going to give you some pair of words. Good. Die. Don't watch. Don't watch. You see, die and don't watch. Look at these two pair of words, right? Yeah, it's not only the verbs have to be or have to be positive, right? And then get and don't take. Let's go and see these don't do and be, right? Don't do and be. Very nice. Don't do and be. Let me give you that 2 minutes in order to complete this activity. Would you like to do it? Thanks so much. Take time and try to do it. Good. Yeah. As you are doing, and then try to share your works with the friends, and then copy it. You are welcome to write both the main clause and the clauses, whatever position you like. It may be at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence, or you are welcome to bring the main clause at the beginning and you take the if clause that is the final position. When you come to the final position, don't forget that, right? I mean that if the if clause comes at the final position or at the end, yeah, if has to be set between the two clauses. In such a way, don't put any comma. It remains as it is. Whereas, if your sentence begins by the clause, if clause, what I mean that, right? There must be a comma so as to separate the two clauses, as we have practiced so far. Think about this, and then hopefully you have done your job. Let's go and take some of the activities or exercises about these two pairs of verbs. Die, don't water. What do you think about don't water? Yeah, exactly. Good. If you don't water flowers, what will happen? Yeah, they will die. Exactly. They will die. Sure. Water is now, it is functioned as a verb. You get me? Yeah, don't forget this one. If you don't water flowers, they will die. If you don't water plants, they will die. No water? Of course. So, they will die if you don't water flowers. So, the main clause also comes at the initial position, as we have practiced so far, and then you are welcome to write if in such a way as I have written here now. Both are possible issues, right? Good. Yeah. If you don't take this medicine, you will get sick or stay unhealthy. That is it. Stay sick or stay unhealthy. Right. If you do not do your homework, your teacher is angry. Yes. If you don't do your homework, your teacher is hungry. Your teacher is angry if you don't do your homework. It's obvious that. See, these are the factors. I'm sure that this is a very important part of conditional type 1 sentences. Now let's go to the second type of conditional type 2. See, now we're practicing about conditional type 2. What looks like conditional type 2? It's more of talking about, right, unlikely or unreal conditional situation. Yeah. You remember the first one was? It was talking about real and possible or likely conditional situation. Right? Real and likely conditional situation. Whereas conditional type 2 is that this is unreal or unlikely conditional sentence. So what's the difference between the two forms? I would like to show you the form what looks like. Right? Yeah, if is common. And then what comes next? Yes? What's that? Very good. Verb 2. Past tense. Right? And then what comes next then? Okay? There is a subject. And then also here now, would plus, that is V1. In both cases, V2 is very important in the case of conditional type 2. Right? Would is very important conditional so as to make 30 conditionals. So I would like to show you that the same example that we have seen so far, right? Steady pace. Good. So what will be the form then? If they stated hard, they would pause. They would pause. Look, stated that is a V2 form, right? Would pass the exam. Exactly. Would pass the exam. If they studied hard, they would pass the exam with plus possibilities. And then we have our V1 that is still not here. You remember in the previous time, where we have been using that is will, but now it changes into conditional form. That is a form. Would pass. Good. Let's go and form another sentence. Right? If you didn't do your homework, and then what will be? If you don't do your homework, would you like to complete the sentence? What will happen? If you don't do your homework, what happened to the feeling of your parents? What happened to the feeling of your teachers? Come on and complete you yourself. Let me give you that 1 minute. That's interesting one. Good. If you didn't do your homework, my teacher would what? My teacher would, if you didn't do your homework, who's going to feel that you didn't do your homework? Exactly. Your teachers feel disappointed. Your parents feel disappointed. Your brother or sister feel disappointed. If you didn't do your homework, okay, our teacher would disappoint. Good. Our teacher would feel angry. All right. Let me exercise and stay. It's better to practice the pair of verbs that we took in the previous time, in the case of conditional type 1. Right? Exercise and say. Okay. If you didn't exercise, you'd stay house, isn't it? Yeah. That is the right one. It's okay in both cases, right? You are welcome to make sentence like this too. Yeah. You wouldn't say holes if you didn't do exercise, or if you didn't do exercise. That's it. So let's go and add one more sentence, and then I hope that you are welcome and take some of the exercises or the verbs that I gave you when you discussed about the first type of conditional tense, and hope that you practice by adding or by changing the verb 1 into V2 and by replacing will into would, and then you'll practice and then share to your friends. Students, that is all we have for today. Till we meet next time, goodbye, everybody.